September 19, 1944, near Ericourt, eastern France, the morning fog hung heavy over the Lorraine countryside as the Panthers of the 113th Panzer Brigade advanced toward their objectives. To the German crews, the mist seemed to offer cover, a shroud beneath which their armored beasts could prowl unseen. But within that same fog, a new predator was waiting, one unlike anything the Wehrmacht had faced before. Suddenly from the haze came movement, swift, sharp, utterly unfamiliar. According to after-action reports, the lead German units were stunned as American tank destroyers moved with almost unnatural speed. They darted from concealment. They fired with deadly precision at ranges of 400 to 800 meters. Then they vanished before the lumbering Panthers could respond. In mere minutes, 3 of Germany's most feared tanks were reduced to smoldering wrecks. Survivors later described an eerie, high-pitched whine, the scream of an engine, unlike anything they had ever heard. Then the low silhouettes of machines that appeared and disappeared like phantoms of war. That morning, Colonel Erich von Samdorf's 39 Panthers were about to meet the M18 Hellcat, a weapon born not of brute force, but of an audacious new philosophy. That speed itself could be armor. That agility could be survival. That, in the deadly game of tank warfare, the hunter could strike and vanish before the hunted even turned its head. The M18 Hellcat was unlike any vehicle of its time. German doctrine favored massive fortresses of steel. The Panther, the Tiger, towering, heavily armored. Deliberate. The Americans had chosen a radical alternative. Here was a machine that could reach 55 miles per hour, faster than any tracked armored vehicle the world had ever seen. Its turret was powered hydraulically. It could sweep a full 360 degrees in seconds. Gunners could engage targets faster than any German crew could traverse their weapon. Born from the mind of Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Davis Bruce in 1941, the idea was daring and unorthodox. Do not try to outgun the enemy. Outmaneuver him. Outthink him. Outrun him. The Hellcat was cavalry reborn, hunting tanks with the speed of mounted horsemen, striking with shock and precision before fading into the landscape. By May 1944, at Anzio, German forces encountered them for the first time. Reports described machines that simply did not behave like tanks. They slipped past defenses with an agility that defied every page of their manuals. At Ericourt, the lesson was driven home with brutal clarity. The 704th Tank Destroyer Battalion lay in wait. Then they unleashed the Hellcats into the fog. Lieutenant Edwin Leiper's platoon struck first. Within half an hour, 15 Panthers lay burning across the fields. Sergeant Henry Hartmann's gunner destroyed 6 more. Each shot was followed by a swift displacement. German fire could never catch them. The battlefield, once thought secure by the 113th Panzer Brigade, dissolved into chaos. In the space of a single morning, 39 German tanks were destroyed. 11 more were damaged. A blow so sudden and so devastating that captured crews could scarcely believe what had happened. The Panther, nearly 50 tons of steel, humbled by a 17.7-ton machine, half its weight. The Hellcat's secret lay in its design. It was powered by a Wright R975 radial engine, the same type used in aircraft. It delivered 400 horsepower. It gave a shrieking whine that announced its presence before it struck. Its 76 Monorolev gun was not heavier than other American weapons, but it became far deadlier when paired with speed. Hydraulic traverse, automatic torque-o-matic transmission. These allowed fluid maneuvering even in the midst of battle. unlike the Panther, slow and deliberate. The Hellcat leaped across the battlefield like a living creature. It chose its moment to attack. Then it vanished into fog, forest, or village street. Elsewhere, the legend grew. In the Ardennes, 4 Hellcats of the 705th Tank Destroyer Battalion faced overwhelming German armor at Nouville. They used mist and constant movement to create the illusion of an entire armored division. In hours of fighting, they destroyed 24 enemy tanks. They lost only one of their own. The Germans were trained for methodical long-range engagements. Suddenly, they found themselves fighting ghosts. Foes who refused to stand still. Foes who struck from impossible angles. Foes who vanished before a counterattack could be organized. The Hellcat was more than a weapon of speed. It was a triumph of industrial efficiency. A triumph of wartime ingenuity, built with lightweight components. Many drawn from civilian automotive production. It could be produced quickly. It could be built in large numbers. A weapon for an army that valued mobility, flexibility, initiative. Even in Italy's rugged mountains, the Hellcat proved invaluable. Its speed allowed rapid redeployment to high ground. Its low profile enabled ambushes from slopes and forests. Its agility gave American forces an edge, even against entrenched defenders. For the men who fought in them, survival depended on a single principle. Never stop moving. Speed was life, they were told. Shoot fast. Move fast. Think fast. Veterans later described the thrill and terror of combat in the Hellcat. A machine that offered no heavy armor to absorb blows. A machine that demanded skill, reflex, daring. To fight in a Hellcat was to ride the razor's edge. Death always near, but victory often swifter. By the end of the war, the Hellcat had carved its name into history. German crews, who had once scoffed at its thin armor, came to fear its whine in the mist. Across France, in the Ardennes, and deep into Germany, they learned that brute force could be outmatched by speed, that even the heaviest steel could not turn fast enough to stop a Phantom. The M18 Hellcat was not just a tank destroyer. It was a revolution in armored warfare. A bold reminder that in the endless contest of arms, it is often not the strongest that prevail, but the fastest, the most cunning, the most adaptable. Its legacy rippled forward into modern military thought. Mobility, agility, surprise, these remain the cornerstones of survival. And it all began on mornings like that one in Lorraine, when the fog parted and the hunters became the hunted.